We're going to start with introductions and then a brief comment about your business, and then we will introduce Jamal Myers. So, vamos a empezar a presentarnos, cada uno de nosotros, hablar un poco del negocio que estamos emprendiendo, y después vamos a presentar a nuestro presentador de hoy, Jamal Myers. Matt, could you please start with your introduction?
Sure. My name is Matt. My business is going to be called The Palace on the Corner. It's going to be a coffee shop cafe with farm-to-table food and also a sober LGBT club at night.
Thank you. Matt dice que su negocio se va a llamar El Palacio de la Esquina y va a ser acerca de cafés, y en la noche va a ser un sober club para la población LGBT. Thank you, Matt. Next, I have Marta. Marta, could you introduce yourself, please?
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Marta Monserrate. Quisiera ¿verdad? Administrar esta nueva compañía BEJ Cleaning de mantenimiento, limpieza, y confiando, ¿verdad?, que prontito pues lo pueda tener, demostrando la calidad de la limpieza.
Okay, gracias. Marta says that is starting a business in maintenance and cleaning, and she's going to start soon. Thank you. Rolando, eres el siguiente.
Y buenas tardes, mi nombre es Rolando de la ciudad de Rochester y mi negocio consiste en reparar casas interior y exterior.
Gracias, Rolando. Rolando mentioned that his business is house repairing, interior and exterior, and he's already working and has customers already. Next, I have Jordan Golden.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm a startup consulting firm, strictly in targeting the cannabis industry, specifically the New York State adult use cannabis. We help people navigate through the regulatory and compliance and much more. But yeah, my company is Golden Cannabis Management, and we have practically launched, but we're still working on growing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Jordan mentioned que su negocio es acerca de una consultoría para el uso de cannabis en el estado de Nueva York. Es Golden Cannabis Management y va a asesorar todo lo que es el uso de cannabis en el estado. Next, I have Kimberly.
Me, Kimberly Balcom?
Yes.
Okay, hi, my name is Kimberly Balcom. I'm trying to do a CNA/home health aid business for disabled and elderly population. So I will be doing personal care, respite services, housekeeping, laundry, and meal prep. So those would be increments of 2 hours, 4 hours, and 6 hours. I have not started the business yet, but I'm in the process.
All right, Kimberly, thank you. Kimberly menciona que su negocio va a ser acerca de atender a la gente deshabilitada y de mayor edad. No ha empezado todavía el negocio, pero va a ser en incrementos de 2, 4 y 6 horas. Thank you, Kimberly. Next, I have Lauren Borsall.
Hi, my name is Lauren. My business partner is Amy. She will be joining us shortly. We are opening Charlie's Canine Camp in late 2024. We will offer canine boarding, daycare, grooming, and training.
Okay, thank you. Aquí menciona que va a ser un negocio llamado Charles Canine Camp y va a ser acerca de cuidado de perros. I'm sorry, did Jordan Golden went already? Yeah, okay. Next, we have Jacoby. Jacoby, you can put something in the chat if you want to. Thank you, Jacoby. Jacoby menciona, Yosu Jacoby está desarrollando una granja non-profit sin ganancias que va a soportar individuos y familias de la población marginada que están sufriendo con la inseguridad de la comida. Jacoby mentioned that he's developing a non-profit farm that will support individuals and families from marginalized populations that are struggling with food insecurity. Thank you, Jacoby. Next, I have Sherelle.
Hi, my name is Sherelle, and my business is called The Gift of Gatherings, and it's an event space. It's a place where people can rent it out for birthday parties, baby showers, small weddings, receptions, repasts, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Cheryl menciona que su negocio es un negocio dedicado a hacer fiestas de cumpleaños, bodas, etcétera, y se llama el Gift of Gathering o el obsequio de juntarse. Thank you, Cheryl. Next I have Fred Ferrer.
Ay, saludo a todos, ¿me escuchan?
Sí.
Saludos, mi negocio, ¿verdad? Que quiero montarle una pizzería, un estilo diferente. Estamos aquí pidiendo la clase y tomando ideas para ver si Dios nos ayuda.
Okay, gracias, Ferrer. Fred mentioned that he is trying to put a business in the pizza sector. It's a different concept. If I remember correctly, it's about the corn pizza that is popular in Puerto Rico.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Brenda Rivera.
Hola, saludos, buenas tardes. My idea for business is the housekeeping service for residentials and commercials, and also bring some kind of programs for people who get some health issues. I want to provide the service without any charge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Brenda menciona que su negocio es acerca de housekeeping, comercial y residencial, y también va a proporcionar servicio para gente que tiene problemas de salud sin cargo. I believe that's everybody. Agustin, I think we are done with the introductions.
Great. I'm still working on the background stuff, but for the meantime.
Thank you, Octavio.
You're welcome.
Well, everyone, I want to introduce you to Jamar Myers. Para todos, quiero introducirlos a Jamar Myers. He is a personal friend and una amistad cercana. We both graduated from the same school. Nosotros nos graduamos del mismo colegio, and we're both mentored by the same guy. Somos entrenados por el mismo hombre, Irv Starr, que hemos visto aquí unas cuantas veces, Irv Starr, who we've seen here a few times. That's where our connection comes in. Now, Jamar, I'll let him speak about his background. I see that in the first slide, he has those, but he has a very rich history about the topic we're going to touch on today. Jamar se va a introducir el mismo. Él tiene una historia bien rica sobre el tema que va a hablar hoy. Ahora, recuerden los que hablan español, que prefieren escuchar el tema en español, que vayan ahora al cuarto de español abajo, que está al ladito de share screen en el Zoom, y ahí pueden brincar el grupo de español. I'll just let in the Spanish speakers so they can now jump into the Spanish room where Danny is going to be interpreting. Jamar, go ahead and start without a presentation just yet.
Yes. Anne, I know you were going to say something. Is there anything you wanted to say before I start?
Thanks, Tamara. I was just going to say, if Jackie, since we have a little bit of time right now, Augustine, since Jackie came on, do you want to say, do you want to introduce yourself, Jackie Senecal?
Sure.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jackie Senecal. I am looking to start a business with my cousin Nellie. Looking to start a bar, like family type business. But we're in the very beginning stages, so we're just educating ourselves right now.
Jackie, was that a food bar or fruit bar?
A bar, like a drinks.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
I see Octavio, Ciamaro, do you want to introduce yourself? Well, we're just getting started, but since you guys are coming in now. We still
Yep,
have a
so
couple-
my name is Xiomara and I am starting an insulation company.
You're starting what, excuse me?
An insulation company?
Oh, insulation. Xiomara menciona que ella va a empezar una compañía de aislamiento. Next we have Jerry.
Hi, Yarisa. Just try to get more information to try to open my little business.
What is your business about?
Frappe.
Café?
Frappe.
Frappé.
Mhm.
Ok, Jerry menciona que está empezando con un negocio de frappé. Is that everybody?
For the moment, thank you very much, Octavio. Yes.
All right.
Bien. Si están brincando en el grupo de español, ahora es el tiempo. The floor is yours, Jamar. I'm about to share screen here in a second.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be here speaking in front of all you. I wrote down your business ideas and I'll make sure to make just some small suggestions, comments to each one. My name is Jamar Myers. I'm an adjunct professor of business at Roberts Wesleyan University. I am also the director of community engagement at the new Golisano Institute for Business and Entrepreneurship. In addition to those roles, I also own several businesses, including a restaurant and a consultation business. So as we begin to get into the thick of things and take a deeper dive into today's lesson, I wanted to start with what stage of the process are you guys in? And have you, if you can scroll down for me, take a look at some familiar memes. So today's topic is planning, thinking strategically, and bringing your business to life. Part of that is trying to figure out what area are you in right now. So I want you to take a look at one of these pictures, all of them, and ask yourself, you know, is that a great business plan that you have already? Do you have no idea? That's my friend Patches. You know what you're doing? You know, did someone tell you that this is going to be easy? And then it turns out it's much harder. You can see the cat. And my good friend, Miss Sweet Brown, you know, I ain't got no time for that. I just want to open my business and get ready and just make money. Can I have just a few people just tell me where they are?
This is Jackie. I just want to let you know, like I said before, we're in the very beginning stages and it's getting as much education as possible before we actually start diving into getting the process started.
So you're looking like Woody right now, like, oh my God, there's a lot that I have to do.
Yes.
Thank you. Jacoby, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that correct. I'm somewhere in between. That's a great business plan, and ain't nobody got no time for that. Anybody else want to share?
Yep. So I'm with Charlie's Canine Camp, and we are definitely in the process of make a business plan. They said it's going to be easy. They said so. Definitely us at the moment.
I can feel your pain, you know, but this is the essential document that guides the purported success of your business. So
We are definitely starting to see that.
perfect. If there's no one else, we can scroll.
I think I'm like partially in a little bit of everything, you know, with my industry, there's a lot that changes. So you're required to pivot on a dime sometimes. So I feel like that it's just maybe 10% of each of it I'll give myself.
Okay. And it makes sense, right? This is a venture it's a difficult venture, and it's difficult, but you know, you have a passion. You've actually recognized that it needs to be done because that's the reason why you're doing your business. So it should be a mixture of all those. So, Augustine, you can slip to the next slide. As we begin to understand planning, thinking strategically, and bringing your business to life, the first thing that we have to tackle is what exactly is a strategic plan? What exactly is strategic planning? Okay. And, you know, on the PowerPoint, it says, you know, a strategic plan helps you define and share the information and share the direction, excuse me, your company or your business will take traditionally in the next 3 to 5 years. So when you guys get your business plan resolved, all complete, you know, you want to present it to funders, they're going to be looking at what are you trying to do for the next 3 to 5 years? I want to see your projections, your financial projections for the next 3 to 5 years. But also with strategic planning, you know, it does include, you know, your company's vision, your mission statement, as well as your goals. And more importantly, how are you going to achieve those goals? There's a good quote that I added to the screen, and it's called, you know, without a plan, even the most brilliant businesses get lost. You need to have goals, create milestones, and have a strategy in place to set yourself up for success. And that's what strategic planning is just doing everything that's necessary to set yourself up for success. Thank you. Now, I want to take a deeper dive into strategic planning. You know, strategic planning is when business leaders, you as the owner, you map out your vision for where the organization is going to grow. And more importantly, how are you going to get there? So I have a coffee shop I hear somebody's creating. We have a frappe business. I have a bar, which is in these days and age, difficult. We have an insulation company, house repair, cannabis consultation, CNA, HHA, housekeeping, the canine camp, and then a non-for-profit farm, which is actually a social entrepreneurship. It's a social entrepreneurial business. And then let's not forget the pizza place, the event space, right? You know, you have to figure out how are you going to get your business up and running, and more importantly, running and it being successful. Your strategic plan, your business plan will inform your organization's decisions, the growth, and your goals. It's going to contain all those things in its outline. You know, when you have a clear sense of where your business is going, you'll be able to ensure that your employees, first of all, are doing what they're supposed to be doing, you know, not just horsing around. You know, I went to a sandwich shop and I waited in line, and there was no other customers there, and there were 3 workers. And it probably took them a good 7 and 9. I really wanted to sub because I could have just left. but 7 minutes for somebody to recognize that I was there because they were listening to music, right? And then not having everything available for me to order as a customer, right? So they were not maximizing the profitability of the business. And that's why you have that strategic plan, because that's the ultimate goal. All of you guys want to make money. There's a lot of people who make money, but what are you taking home, right? You can have $100,000 in sales and then only take home $10,000 in profit, right? And then lastly, the strategic planning process doesn't just help you identify where you need to go during the process, but you should also be creating documentation to share with employees and stakeholders so that way they stay informed along the process. So you guys are going to be in multiple meetings, or should be in multiple meetings. You're going to be presenting your outline to hopefully get funding. You're going to be meeting with bank folks, folks who procure your licenses for your different organizations or your permits. And so you should be having something in hand to take with you so that way they can see what's going on.
So remember to pause a little bit, Jamar.
Yes, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thanks. Maybe just slow down just a little bit and pause a little bit.
Thank you.
And is there anything I need to clarify that
No, you're good.
Thank you. There's a good picture on the screen that says my business plan, what's all in it. Your management or ownership structure is in it. Is it an LLC? Is it a sole proprietorship business? Is it a partnership? Is it an S corporation? If it's a partnership, who has a say in what and how much of a say? Your financial plan, which is usually probably the most difficult and nerve-wracking plan to have. Right, Augustine, I know you were in the banking industry. Your operational plan. What are the procedures of your business, especially for the bar, especially for the pizza place? Your marketing plan. That's included in your business plan. Lastly, your executive summary, or excuse me, and your products and services. What are you going to be doing? Thank you. You can scroll down. So what does it mean to plan or think strategically about all of your businesses? Ask yourself that question. What does it mean to think strategically about my business? The picture gives you some types of things to think about. Your team, your operations again, your competitors, the timeline of when you want to get your business open. Someone said they wanted the doggy canine open in 2024. You know, giving yourself enough time to make sure that your plan is successful. Thank you. You can scroll up. So thinking strategically is a way of assessing and planning when you're trying to achieve an objective. One of the best, I've worked at Wegmans for almost 20 years. I was a store manager. I was a vice president. I was in consumer affairs. The best lesson I learned, and I hope all of you guys write this down, is the 7 P's of planning. Prior proper planning prevents poor, excuse me, some people say other words, piss poor performance, right? The 7 P's, prior proper planning, right? So when you are thinking strategically, you're planning ahead. Strategic thinkers take the time to plan out the best solution to a problem. Your first problem is understanding why people want to do business with you. That's the first problem. You are going to spend a lot of time in creating your business, opening up your business, running your business. So why are people going to do business with you, right? You really have to think about that.
Can you repeat those 7 P's again, Jamar?
Yes, yep. Prior proper planning prevents, I'm going to say what I was told, piss poor performance, meaning really bad performance. An example is when I was at Wegmans, I was a produce manager. The 3 days for Thanksgiving, the sales that a produce department can do is pretty much 70% of the volume of the whole year of one store. Meaning in 3 days, I could make the amount of sales I would have done the whole year. Okay. So for Thanksgiving, I know folks are going to buy yams. They're going to buy broccoli and cauliflower and squash. So in order to make sure that I know Thanksgiving, I'm going to be selling a lot of those products, I planned ahead. So in June, I was already working with farmers to lock in deals for November. That's what I mean. Prior proper planning prevents bad performance. If I didn't do that, come November, there would not have been enough yams, and then customers would have been very, I was at an all black store. You tell all those folks you don't have yams, right? There's going to be a problem. Okay. You can make that just as much to all of your businesses. You know, the house repair business, right? If you don't plan ahead and have insurance, and I'm going to say knock on wood, or here we go, I'm knocking on wood right now. God forbid you get hurt or one of your employees get hurt, you don't have insurance, that opens up to so much liability, right? So think ahead for all those things. And then it's going to help you avoid the pitfalls of why businesses fail, right? You know, I was talking with the Key Bank, a vice president at Key Bank, on people opening businesses. And one of the things he mentioned was people don't plan for what happens if I don't do well in my business, which we call an exit strategy. Okay, what is my exit strategy? I was purchasing a restaurant from an older family, or older couple, who the restaurant was dying. He could not get rid of the restaurant because he had so much debt. He was operating because it was just paying the bills, but every day he operated, he incurred debt. He had no exit strategy. Okay. And so all of your businesses, one of those things that you do need to add is, you know, God forbid in 3 years, and an exit strategy isn't a bad thing. It's bad when you don't plan for it. An exit strategy can be passing my business down to my kids, which happens. It's wealth accumulation, right? So I'm planning for that with mentorship of my kids, continuity, business continuity. And please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, August. Thanks.
So we heard you correctly, 70% of what type of products were sold in Wegmans in those 3 days of anticipation?
And it varies per store. And so because Wegmans, it's different stores and different environments. This particular store, which is it's by Baltimore, yams or sweet potatoes, butternut squash, collard greens. I sold trucks of collard greens. And 99% of that community was an all Black community. And so for this particular item, you know, for what Black people love collard greens. So if I didn't plan ahead to have 200,000 cases of collard greens, right, 200,000. So that meant I had to go find farmers who can source just for my store. Okay, someone has a specialty pizza place that's going to be selling Puerto Rican versions of pizza, if I'm understanding correctly. Are there unique spices that you're going to have? Right? So you have to plan ahead if it's coming fresh from Puerto Rico.
Sorry?
Fred, you have the pizza place business?
Estoy tomando la clase para abrirlo.
He's taking the steps right now to plan for launching it.
Perfect. And so you want to make sure in all of you guys, if there's something that's unique to your product mix or your service, that you plan ahead to have that ready.
Por lo menos yo estoy pensando, ¿verdad? En uno de mis planes a futuro, si se va bien, me gustaría llamar la atención de los equipos deportivos y eventos familiares, porque yo me estoy bien envuelto en lo que es el deporte, especialmente en el béisbol.
So part of the planning that he's working on in this class is to be focused on event planning, in particular on sports or family gatherings, because then he can work in large volumes, and that's an area of an area that he just really likes.
Gracias.
Gracias.
You can scroll. So I wrote some steps down for you guys when you're doing your business plans and thinking about opening your business. Is to look forward. Anticipate what problems that may come up, what challenges you may face, or how things may change while you're doing your business. Someone is doing the event space, right? You have to look forward for that particular business model because of the tragedy that happened in Rochester at the Armory. Now legislation is coming down the pipeline requiring certain restrictions or things to make sure that people are feeling safe to go to certain events. One of those things that you will have to look forward to doing, and it is a challenge, is that your security team that you're going to hire have to have a certification in crowd control. That's an obstacle. So looking ahead, reading about what things may impact your business. Those of you with the cannabis, there are a bunch of legislation. New York State is always wishy-washy sometimes when it comes to cannabis. So looking ahead to say, okay, what law or legislation is coming down the pipeline that may affect my industry or my business? The next step is to always, as an owner, as a proprietor, be thinking about continuous learning. Continuous learning. That means you're always seeking out new knowledge about your business, about your products. This will better inform your customers of why they should choose your business versus the other folks. Part of Wegmans training is called knowledge-based service. Knowledge-based service. As a cashier or as a manager, I should know everything about this orange that I'm selling as a produce manager. All my employees should know 101 things of why this is the best tasting orange. That will help them speak highly of your business, as well as upsell things. Upsell is a term used to where I'm not just going to get a cookie at a bakery that's 50 cents. One of the employees said, hey, try this red velvet cake. It's delicious. It smells like a s'more. When you take a bite of that slice, it's going to melt right in your mouth. And I have some milk too as well if you want to try it. And I go from selling that cookie or buying that cookie at 50 cents and the cake is $4.99. I buy that slice of cake at $4.99. That's what upselling is. Continuous learning. The best thing right now is Google, right? Google can answer any questions. It's either Google or Alexa.
Can I add to that? Like Google, Alexa, and Chat GPT, there's a lot of AI tools that can help you learn. But that's all I really want to add. Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you. One of the things, I still go to the library. I want to learn about my business. I'll go right to the library. Lots of books, read a book. Or take business classes. There's a word as a business owner that's kind of scary. It's called taxes. And all of you will have to pay that for your business. So now is the time to start learning about business taxes. Thank you, August. You can scroll. Some more advice. Talk to others. Collaborate. Get feedback. ask advice. SCORE is a great opportunity that can help you, right? You want to get suggestions on different ways you can do things or different ways to operate your business or start your business. And part of being an entrepreneur is taking risk. I know it's scary, risk, because it creates the unknown. But you have to take a risk. But take a risk the smart way, right? And understand all the pros of all your businesses and the cons of starting a business like yours. The cannabis example, if it was a brick and mortar cannabis, right? That's a huge risk. Part of the risk is security. Right, so take that risk, but also think about, how are you going to secure your product? Thank you, Augustine. You can scroll up. And then my last tip is to consider the other side, another point of view. An alternative approach to doing your business. I put a picture in there of the UK Parliament, the British House of Commons. If you're not familiar with the British House of Commons, there is a regular government, which is the British Prime Minister in that particular, his party. They offer ideas. But then there's an opposition group called a shadow cabinet. Their job is to critique all of his ideas and then offer suggestions, okay? That means somebody's in the hot seat, okay? You may be in the hot seat. You should be in the hot seat. It should be uncomfortable. You should be very uncomfortable in this process. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. So this is the time frame for you to really understand what are the things that can hurt your business, hinder your business, take suggestions, all those things to better prepare. When you do that, you'll have better ideas or become better events that your idea is the best because you've thought it through. Thank you. Scroll. So strategically, now is the time frame to start thinking about your products and labor. How are those going to impact your business? Your labor is usually the biggest expense that you have. These are two things that you have control over. Do you know the following? The percent of revenue from each of your product categories? The percent of profit from each product? That's what we talk about, gross profit. These things should be in your business plan. And alternative sourcing partners or suppliers, right? Everyone heard of the helium shortage. Oh my God, we can't have a birthday balloon because of the helium shortage. right? Or the coins shortage. I can't get my quarters because there's a coin shortage. Or there's a chicken wing shortage, but there's plenty of drumsticks. I don't understand that, or thighs. But the chicken wing, there's a shortage of that, right? So if that shouldn't impact your business, if you're selling pizza, people buy chicken wings. If there's a chicken wing shortage, do you have an alternative supplier? Thank you. Next slide. Your business plan. Start thinking strategically about your markets, your customers. Where are you going to do business? Where are you going to get business from? And always remember, your market is not for everyone. There's a good meme by a famous rapper. You know, it says, yesterday's price is not today's price. Some people won't understand that. And you may lose folks. So your market, your product, your service may not be for everybody. Understand that. But you need to understand who has unique need for what you do. The CNNA person, and I'm sorry I didn't write your name down, for disability, housekeeping, meal prep, right? Where are you going to provide that service at? How are you going to get clients? Who has a willingness and the ability to pay? Right? All of you guys should be thinking, especially if you have accounts receivable. You have bills to pay now, but some folks can't pay you for 30 to 60 days. Right? So you have to think about that. And then repeat business. Who's more likely to buy again from you? If you're new starting your business, who's going to buy your product or take advantage of your service in the next 6 months? Ultimately, think about who your target customer is. You can go to the next slide. So for all of your business, for the market, some of you have business to business consumers, right? Or you have B2C, which is business to consumer. When you're going down that line, this right here is a tree example of what it may look like. Who are your customers? Are they what identifying characteristics, female, male, whatever it may be? Someone had was going after LGBT clients for the coffee shop, I believe. Right? So you know your target customer. And for all of your businesses, you need to start thinking, are you going to sell to college students? Can you offer services to unemployed workers? Self-employed people? Stay-at-home moms or parents? Blue-collar folks? Are you going to offer it to managers or professionals? Or are you going to sell your service to retirees? There's a young man who's not afraid of heights. And he goes to folks who retired home, and he goes and he cleans their windows, and he sprays their roof, the leaves out of their gutters. Right? That's the population who he targets. And you want to keep going down and really understand who you want to buy from, or who you want to buy from you. folks who own a home, non-homeowner, right? Lots of different examples for you to understand who your market is. Thank you, Augustine. And the biggest thing is to remember just to say no to commodity. And I'm sure all of you guys are wondering, well, what do you mean by that? A commodity trap happens when a company sees its competitive position being eroded so that it can no longer command a premium price in its market. Some of you, you know, you're going to clean the heck out of somebody's house for the housekeeping business, right? You know that. But then you start seeing, well, everybody's doing it. Because when you tell people about your business, you know, everybody's going, well, I do that. Or you're going to start seeing it. And so then you say, okay, well, let me lower my price because everybody's doing it. That's what that means. Go ahead, Augustine. And for all of your businesses, you have to be aware of that trap. Because a lot of things that you have to think about are either labor intensive, or you may have high competition. There's a lot of salvatores out there. You may have limited volumes or capacity to do business. Somebody who has the event space, right? You can only hold 100 people or 200 people when somebody else like the convention center can hold thousands. So because of that, I'm just gonna go cheap. I'm gonna sell my stuff cheap to get the people in the door. Or you may have a high product, a high costing product. And because everybody's not buying it or they're not buying it fast enough, you feel that it's inferior, so you want to reduce your price and be like Walmart. When you're selling a Whole Foods type of organic product. These are the commodity traps that as an entrepreneur, you really have to understand for your business and include these things or ways that you can avoid them in your business plan. Thank you, Augustine. And tell me how much time I have.
Still have 15 minutes.
Perfect.
Doing great.
So let's talk about how or the ways you can make your business different. Example, Coke and Pepsi. They sell Coke and Pepsi, right? What's the difference? Wegmans and Tops. Both Wegmans and Tops sell the same can of corn, right? That's where we talk about differentiation. You know, the image or operational excellence, the consistency and dependability is what can separate you from the business across the street. I drove down Dewey Avenue and I counted 13 corner stores. 13 corner stores. I happened to go on one corner store and and the place is very clean. It was well lit. The items were all stocked. I complimented the owner. I was like, wow, you're different from the last place that it smelled bad in there. You know, people were arguing. Folks were outside the corner store. When I went in it, they asked me for $2 or whatever. But I came here, there was a difference. So I'm going to do my business there. Another way to differentiate yourself from your competitor is the type of product or service quality. You ever get in a hotel room And the towel, you have a towel on your bed that's in the shape of a bird or whatever it is. Right? Your selections, your features, your availabilities. The technology and innovation can set your business apart. Your pricing or the value that people get for the money that they're spending is another way to set your business apart. And then lastly, your relationship with your customers. Thank you, Augustine. You want to be different. Different is good. Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, Tom Walls, they all sell a burger. Five Guys, they all sell burgers. Which place do you choose from? Ask yourself, which one do you choose from and why? That why is the differentiation. That's what you need to have for your business. I go to Five Guys versus all those other restaurants because when I pick up my burger's this big and I got to figure out how I'm gonna get my mouth on it. And then when I bite it, the juice comes down my hand and it always stains my work shirt, right? That means it's a good burger versus someone else where the burger's smashed in the wrapper. And when I say no mayonnaise, I get mayonnaise on it. So be different. Thank you, you can scroll. And this is what you sell on all four levels. You know, you have your core product, your tangible products or your accompanying products or services, your augmented ones, and your communicated ones. Thank you. In the chat, thank you guys. Right, your core product, who is it supposed to benefit? The farm, who exactly, out of the food scarcity, who is it really benefiting? Right, that's where you got to start seeing yourself sell at different levels or offer different things for different people. Thank you, Augustine, you can go down. Be different by your positioning statement. If you guys haven't Googled a positioning statement, I encourage you to take a minute and to Google what that means. But this is something that positions you and your product, your services better. This is an example of Coca-Cola. I never thought Coca-Cola wanted to have the highest quality beverage. Right? So position your business by your price or quality, your attributes or the benefit, the respect to that customer, the respect to the application or process. If you have a job aid, right? You want to make sure that that same burger is made the exact same way or that same service is provided the same way at different times of the day, no matter what. That's what that means. Thank you, Augustine. You can scroll one more down for me. General Dwight Eisenhower. Plans are nothing if you don't use them, if you don't put them in place. Planning is everything. So as we close, as I close, you can scroll down again for me. Why do this business plan? Why is it important? Okay, why? It's a way to determine if your business idea makes sense, because it's going to get challenged. I mentioned that earlier. It's the paper or a device to get feedback, to obtain money, a loan, a grant, an angel investor. It's a way to track performance. And also some suppliers may need that document to give you business credit. Thank you, Augustine. You can scroll. Always remember your plans are written for the following people. You, your employees, prospective investors. So keep that in mind. Use language that's going to make it attractive. This is the best tasting pizza, that world-class pizza, right? It's going to go to your suppliers and your distributors. I mentioned your employees, your managers. The bar, definitely you need your business plan to get your liquor license. And also to advise everybody who's a founder in that business. Thank you. There are 3 basic types of plans. Plan to flesh out your concept and demonstrate the viability of your business. Plan to attract stakeholders. And then an operating guide as a business owner for your employees. Thank you, Augustine. This is my restaurant. If I can screen share, I would screen share and I would show you my actual business plan that I submitted for financing. But this is one of my cover pages, right? This is what, in my business plan, this is what my employee t-shirt looked like, my uniform. This is what my logo is, my website, everything is included in my business plan. And it talks about my positioning statement in there. Applewood Barbecue Deli and Cafe is the next generation of fun and trendy casual dining, serving up delicious barbecue and down-home comfort food that everyone loves. All done with a fresh, modern, and high-quality twist. So we talk about positioning statements. That's my positioning statement. That's my mission. But you see the language that I use that made it attractive to an investor, that makes it attractive to the business folks, to suppliers. Now they know, okay, this guy's serious. They want high quality products. You can scroll. In my business plan, also, I take a look at that community. I know the businesses that are in my plaza. I know everything about my business building in itself, the square footage. Who are the anchors? That's where I talk about understanding all of that. And then if you can scroll down to why businesses fail, and I'll close off with that. One of the things that I really want you guys to understand is it's a blessing to be an entrepreneur. I love every moment of it, and you're going to eventually love every moment of it. But you got to get past the rain and the storm in order to see the sunshine. But keep in mind why businesses fail, because, you know, a lot of times they fail to plan. Your goals are unreasonable. You just talked about it, but you never made commitment. It really has to be all in. You never really determined who was your potential customer. From a bank standpoint, it's hard to get financing if they believe your numbers are unbelievable. That means you didn't project, or you didn't understand your gross profit or your sales. And then we talked about markets, not understanding where your specific market is. And if you scroll to the next one, the last thing I want to leave with you guys is to make sure that in your business plans, you include a SWOT analysis. What are the strengths of your plan, of your business idea? What are its weaknesses? What are the opportunities? And then what are the threats? You know, I use the example of the armory. A threat is the negative press in the media that came from that. If you were that promoter, do you think folks want to go to an event that you promote in the future? Do you think the city or legislator will allow you to get a license to even entertain in the future? So that's a threat now. So I do thank you guys for the opportunity to present to all of you guys. I am always available to you guys, and I do want to thank Ibero for the opportunity and say that it is such a wonderful organization. And thank you guys for doing it. And I want all you guys to be encouraged. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamar. Now we're
Thank you
going
very
to take
much.
some time to transition into 5-minute break. Just remember that to leave an evaluation right here on the section where it says schedule. Gracias a todos por el tiempo. Vamos a pasar ahora un poquito de tiempo para descansar. Pero recuérdense que en la parte de evaluación pueden dejar más información sobre nuestro maestro de hoy. Here you can leave a little bit of a notes and feedback about what you thought about Jamar today. And when do you think we should, how long is the break today?
Well, first, I just would like to say thank you, Jamar. That's amazing information, very, very helpful. And remember, everyone, this information is on the Google site where you get your link and you can come back and review it, and you'll be able to actually watch this again if you need to. I think we should take a 10-minute break and then turn it over to Tanya and Dave Richards.
Thank you.
How's that sound, Tanya?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you all again, and I hope with the translation I wasn't going too fast, but thank you again.
Thank you, Jamar.
Gracias. Buenas noches.
Excellent.
Have a good night, Jamar.
Good night.
Good night. Excellent. Thanks, Jamar. And you're welcome to stay, Jamar. You don't have to go, but
I actually have to teach.
okay. Well, you do have to go.
Thank you, Jamar.
Thank you, guys.
We'll just wait a minute until the technology specialist is back.
Sounds good, Tanya. Let everybody sign back in.
Yes.
And I think instead of doing the PowerPoint, why don't we go right back to the template? It seems like that worked well last time.
Oh,
We'll see.
there we
see.
go.
There we go. Augustine's right on top of it. Augustine's in charge.
Okay.
Technology tonight.
All right. We'll pass it off to you, Dave.
Okay, if we could go back to the starting point on the template, that would be helpful. This was our initial investment in our business. I wondered if anyone had any questions or had any difficulty working with this particular page. If not, why don't we go on to the 3A, the sales page.
Dave, are you asking them if they have already started working on it?
Well, also if they had any questions about what's involved in it, even if they haven't started.
I'm suspecting there's questions, but I don't know that they may not know what to ask yet.
Okay, not a problem.
I'm just feeling that.
I'm with you. And then actually the page I was looking for was the first year sales.
I put the link for this worksheet back in the chat again in case anybody misplaced that.
Thank you.
Usually it's 3A, but the 3A that was showing didn't look the same. Okay, there we are. I'm sorry. Did anyone try to work on this or have any questions on it? I know yesterday I worked with Amy because she had a question about how to fit in more revenue sources than there are rows for that type of input. And I think we were able to work through that. If there's nothing on this, why don't we go to first year expenses? This is a listing of the primary expenses that most businesses encounter. A lot of these, you'll have to do a little bit of homework in terms of what your insurance agent is going to charge you for premiums for your insurance. Other things, if you're renting space, you need to know if you're going to have to pay an upfront deposit or if you're not going to have a deposit. These are items outside of your salary and wages. These are just basically the overhead, as we would call it, items. Down below, you'll see there's interest expense for the various categories of loans that you might have in your business. Once you complete that startup page, it will automatically populate these fields for you, showing the interest amount for each month during the year. So you'll see in the bottom half there where it shows the loans, and then it goes over to the light orange, I guess you would call it. You can see that it's going to calculate for you to the right of that, the monthly payment amount. So once you have input a dollar amount of your loan, you can adjust what the interest rate is and what the term of the loan is. And then it will calculate, as you just saw, what the monthly payment would be. Once you filled in the first page of first year of expenses, you'll go to the next page and you can actually increase or decrease what those monthly payments are by adjusting for example, the cost of, the inflation rate, or if you know that your expenses are going to increase somehow else. You could see in this area in the light orange, you can change those percentage amounts, but they're basically just reflecting what historically inflation has been. Obviously, that's different these days, and you can go in and change it to 5% or 6%, whatever your feeling is of what inflation might be in each of those categories. There's no questions
an
on.
example.
Sorry?
Why don't we try an example? So
Yeah, that would be great. You need to go back to the first year. And let's say for current expense, it's $50 a month. So we would put in the $50 in that, or it's advertising. So you have $50 a month for advertising. And then we can just drag that across to get a total for the year. So now if we go to year 2, you'll see that $600 is carried over into the next page. So then you can see at a 3% rate, the second year, that advertising expense increases to $618, and the following year, assuming the same rate of 3%, you're then up to $637. So the key is to get a good basis for your first year and then adjust from year to year based on what you feel the percentage increase will be from year to year.
It seems very helpful to kind of fill in some of those numbers so we can see what it looks like, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's very helpful to keep doing a few of them.
Okay, let's go back to year 1 again. And let's do insurance, row 14. Let's say that that's $100 a month. And we drag it across. And why don't we go down to rent of the business property? Yep, that works. And let's say our rent is $500 a month.
And whose dreams?
And then let's try one that doesn't have an even expense across each month. Let's try travel, meals, and entertainment. And it's $25 in the first 2 months. And in year 2, month 2. And then let's say that in month 4, it happens to be the summer and we don't have any travel because we're going to be on vacation. We're not going to be open for business. And then we're back to our $25 for travel expense for the last 3 months. So then again, if we go back to the two years 2 and 3, you can see how that's populated. But if we look at the rent or lease of $6,000, we know that our landlord said in our lease that it's going to increase by 10%. So let's go in, instead of 3% for the increase, put 10%. And we could do similarly from year 2 to year 3. So you can see how that automatically calculated that across. Now, the travel and meals, we had some months that we didn't do any traveling, but maybe in year 2 and year 3, we'll be traveling all the time. And we don't want to base it on a percentage increase. So let's take out the 3% in each of the columns there. And then in the actual second year, we can actually input a direct dollar amount. We can put in, let's say, $500. So the code to get in is 1234. If you go up top for the protection.
Where do I press that?
If you go to view up top, just below the green border. I think that's right. Where we want to go is where we unprotect the sheet. So that might be in review probably. I'm sorry. Right. And then if you click unprotect and put in 1234. And okay, now you can go back and replace the 275 there with any number you want. And let's say it goes up to 750 the next year. So that shows you a couple different things. One, how the year to year is populated by an increased percentage. And also what you learn how to unprotect the sheet with the code 1234. You can bypass the software calculations there and just input the numbers that you feel are more representative.
That's helpful to know. When we were teaching this last fall, there were numbers that we couldn't manipulate that way. Now we know.
Now you know. Let's go now to payroll. It's back in tab 2, I think. First year payroll. So here's a chance to calculate what your wages are going to be, and it's automatically going to calculate for you the FICA, the Medicare, and the state and federal unemployment taxes that you have to withhold and pay to the government. So the first at the top in row 8 is you as an owner. If you're just one owner, you would just put in 1. If you're in partnership with someone, you could put in a 2. Then the next column C, you would put in what you feel your average hourly pay is going to be. Let's say that's $25 an hour. And you're going to be working 40 hours a week. So in the estimated hours per week, we'll put in 40. And you can see that your monthly pay is $43.33, and that's carried over month by month for a total of $52,000 for the year. Down below, you can see that it's automatically calculated what your withholding costs are going to be, so that your total payroll is $56,262. Let's go back up to row 9 and assume that you had a full-time employee, just one to start with. And you're going to pay them $15 an hour. And they're working the same 40 hours as you are. So that's an annual pay of $31,300. But let's assume that you don't need that full-time employee right off the bat, that you don't need to pay them $2,600 each of those months. As we did with the increase in other expenses, we can go in and actually change month by month what the actual pay would be. So we still leave the 2,600 in column E, but as we go to F, G, and H and so on, we can change those numbers. So we're probably going to end up with the same error message that we have to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, but let's see if it opened everything. I don't remember if that's how that works. So let's say in column F, we haven't hired that full-time employee yet, we'll put in 0. Oh, I guess it took. So then in month 2, it's 0, month 3, it's 0. How about in month 4, we put in half of that, $1,300. So even though they're full-time, we're only having them start part-time to speak of. And then let's say by month 6, they're back to full-time. So let's put in the $2,600. And there we have, instead of $31,000 for this employee, we're only paying $20,800, which was a cost reduction that we had to make in order for us to be profitable during the year. We can do the same thing with part-time employees. Let's say down the road, we're going to get 2 part-time employees. And we pay them $15 per hour. But they're only going to work 10 hours a week. So there we have the 1,300 going all the way across. Some people, rather than hiring employees and having to pay the withholding taxes below, will hire independent contractors. So there's a line there also for you to be able to put that in. And it will calculate the salary similarly, but you won't have to show the withholding down below because as an independent contractor, they're responsible for their federal, FICA, Medicare, and so on. So you can see that while our salaries did increase, the total amount of the payroll taxes and benefits are 0. I could point out also that if you're up and running already, and you have health insurance that you're providing to your employees, or you have a pension plan, or any other type of employee benefit, you can include those in this calculation as well. Everyone's still with us?
Yes, sir.
Sounds great. Thank you. Let's go now to 7B. This is going to be a little incomplete, but it'll show you what we've been doing, and it's carried over everything we've input so far in terms of our sales by product, once we put that in, what our payroll costs are, and our overhead expenses, to show that our income before other expenses right now is showing a significant loss, but of course, we haven't factored in any sales yet. And down below, you can see that we did take out a commercial loan, and there's the interest expense that was calculated automatically for you. What it's showing, if you were to run into a cash deficit, and this case does do that because you have no sales, it will automatically include a line of credit from the bank to help you cover the cash shortfalls. So you can see that we did need a line of credit, and this is what the interest would have been on that amount. Is there any calculation you'd like us to go through on any of those expense sheets?
I'm not sure that we know what to ask you yet, Dave.
Yeah,
I think
but
what's
okay.
I think what's really helpful is that you're kind of walking through these and we're seeing it over and over again. You know,
Right.
like on Tuesday when we just started putting in, you know, the product lines. Like if I feel like that's really helpful, that how all the information just carries over to all these other
Right.
pages. And each page is telling us, just giving us new information. We're putting it in there.
Right.
Um,
Why don't
Yeah,
we
it's
go back-
incredibly helpful.
Why don't we go back to the sales page and go back to inputting some information there? And they'll make the income statement, which I know you're gonna have to present for your pitches.
that would be great.
Yep. So product lines, but what kind of business do we want to deal with? Any volunteers?
Charlie's volunteers for tribute.
So what would be 2 or 3 of the product lines for that?
Daycare,
Yep.
boarding, grooming,
This is sounding familiar.
and training.
So how many daycare clients will you have per month?
We will have, well, per month. Well, let me pull up my sheet.
Well, you can just make up a number if it's easier.
Okay. So let's say 30.
Okay. And what do you charge per day for daycare?
$20.
Okay, so we'll put in 20 there. And we go back to you, we need to put in the number of units. What was that, 30?
Yeah.
And is there any cost of providing that service?
Other than labor and cleaning supplies.
Right, so there actually is no cost of goods sold in this case, so
No.
you're gonna be making $20 per unit. Now, if you go down to daycare, you can see it's also already put in the highlighted daycare, boarding, grooming, and so on. So while we said we're gonna do 30 a month, do you think you'll do 30 a month when you first start?
Probably not.
So why don't we say 15 in month 1?
Okay.
You can see that it automatically calculated what your total sales would be for that month for that particular revenue source.
Okay.
So let's say month 2, you did 20. And again, that calculates automatically. And just for an illustration, why don't we just put the next one at 30 and carry that all the way across through month 12. So there you have $6,700 in annual income from daycare. Now, boarding, how many animals will you board per month?
Let's go with 29.
Okay. And what do you charge per day for boarding?
55.
Okay. Now, are you providing food or any other things
No.
that are associated? Okay. So again, there's no cost of goods for that as well.
Nope.
And then we can go down below to the product lines by month and do the same type of thing. We can do 10, 15, 20, and 29 and carry that all the way across.
Dave, is there a reason why you're not including labor in the cost of goods sold?
It's only because it's on that separate salary worksheet. I know there is labor associated with some things that would be in here, but in a service industry, it's not likely to have a labor component to it.
Okay.
So then grooming, same type of thing.
Yes. Grooming would be the only thing that we would have a cost of goods sold.
Right. So how many units per month? How many?
We'll say 30 for that too.
Okay. And for grooming, like you said, you do need to have some stuff to do that. How much per treatment or whatever would you call it?
$50.
$50. And then the cost of providing that?
Probably $10.
Okay. So again, we can go down below and just for simplicity, why don't we do 30 all the way across? And last but not least, training.
We'll do 15.
Okay. Charging how much?
Let's go with 50 as well.
Okay.
And I don't believe there's any cost of goods sold for training either.
No doggy treats?
They provide their own.
Okay.
Yep.
So down below, we can just do 15 all the way across.
Yep.
I see there's some questions in the chat, so we'll get to those shortly. So that completes that. Let's go down to the bottom and it'll show us what our total sales is on an annual basis. And you can see that it's calculated by month for year one in the first column. And then based on, remember last time we looked at the growth rates from year to year? This is calculated a 10% increase, and you can change those. Because once you're up and running, you're gonna probably be at full steam ahead. So maybe you're at 20% from year one to year two, or maybe even higher. So you can see that in year two, you've increased your totals, and year three has gone up even further. And as Ann pointed out, the real beauty of this is it carries everything over for you. Once you made your basic assumptions. Now, one thing that's helpful in presenting this, and we'll get into cash flow analysis next time, but you can hide the columns for each of the months, and it will just show you the yearly totals. So for example, if you went to R and went all the way over to AC, and on the highlighted part, say hide. Now you just have your three totals. And you could do that similarly for year two as well.
Now I have a question because
Yeah.
I ran into an issue with this. Let's say that when you go back to 3A,
yep,
there are products that you anticipate launching, let's say in year two or year three.
Yep.
But you're not going to do in year one. let's say training, let's say there was a licensing requiring for daycare.
Okay,
And Ontario County was harsh on this, and there were no licensing for daycare. You can do the other businesses, but there are certain things you have to do. So daycare won't start into year 2. So how then would you suggest a business that can't show sales on the first year? Let's say for daycare here, this would be 0, right?
Yep.
Can't do that in the
Let's-
first year.
like, let's use training and just put 0 in for the first month and drag that all the way across. Then if we go to the page that shows the multiple years, it's still going to show training as a possible source of revenue, but nothing in year 1. So we can't take a percentage increase, but similar to how we adjusted some of the other expenses, we can just input what we feel those numbers are. And so maybe in year 2, our year 2 totals is $2,000, let's say. So in column E, so the zeros for training, but in year 2, you could bypass the software that's there and directly input the numbers you feel that's accurate. So maybe in month 1 it begins, and it'll recalculate the numbers again. So if we go to column, yeah, we're in year 2, so training, there you go.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So I'm a big fan of plan A, B, and C, because you know they say when you make plans, God laughs. So would you suggest like making 2 templates, like a best case scenario and worst case scenario, or is that overkill?
No, it's not overkill. And I'd suggest that you do the what you feel the most reasonable case is, like this is, and then do a stretch plan and a worst plan. But that you can do by just going to the, is it 7A or 7B? I forgot which now, that show your 3 years.
7B.
7B, yeah.
And what did you call that? A stretch plan and a what?
And the worst case plan.
Okay, thank you.
So similar to how we bypass the software, you can go in year 2, and if this is going to be the worst plan, we can just change that 6,700 to say 5,000, and then put the second year at 6,000, or the third year at 7,000, or however you wanted to do it. And then you would,
thank you.
yeah, you as an Excel worksheet, you can copy these. So you could, in the same workbook, have your best case, worst case, and most reasonable case.
I have a question for you.
Sure, Jordan.
I'm not sure if you'd be able to answer this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Are you familiar with what's called a shared services agreement?
Just to be sure, why don't you explain what you're dealing with?
So, some of my clients, we're trying to work through a specific legal hurdle, and we're trying what's called a shared services agreement, which is operating 2 businesses under a single establishment. Now, when doing that, we've created one financial model that kind of has, both sides or both businesses going on, but I kind of recommended them to keep them separate. And it's kind of getting like all jumbled up and whatnot. But with a shared services agreement, it can get fairly complicated. would you have maybe any insight as to, what I could do with that?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you should have two separate ones. And what you can do is after you run each of these, then use these as, so you could then copy and paste these into a separate Excel worksheet and have both of them side by side. And then you could add them together to see what the joint result would be.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions so far? Now
I
that we-
think we have one in the chat.
Okay.
Jacoby is asking, he says, I have a question after the demo. As a nonprofit, would I be including items I'm selling to bring in program revenue in the income statement? Is that where I would be listing grant money and donations received, or
Yes.
where would those go?
The grant money would go in your startup because they're probably going to fund, things in advance. But
Okay,
then
and
your
you said, no, go ahead, Dave.
No, I was gonna say, if you go down, it doesn't say grant, but I usually put it in where it says outside investors. Because there's a zero cost to that. Typically, you would put in your grant amount there. But then you're correct in the fact that your program revenue as well as donations and those types of things would go into your income statement.
He also asked if one of my products is an annual share, like a subscription, would I list that in the month those are sold only? So he's doing a community farm, like I'm
Right.
buying shares of fresh vegetables.
Okay, if it's a subscription, you're probably going to be a cash basis taxpayer. So you probably would only show that subscription income when you actually receive it.
It's also advisable to do that since if you in a non-for-profit, cash flow statements are probably the most important financial statements to review.
Right.
To be as accurate as possible, to know when that cash is going to be at hand.
Right.
Thank you.
And then the other, if you're using QuickBooks or some sort of accounting software like that, you would be able to identify each of those revenue sources also and be able to track it that way. And be able to also see when you're going to be receiving it. Great. Any other questions? Whether it be on the template or anything in general about starting your business and the financial aspects of it?
So just as a friendly reminder, a financial projection is expected to be had so you can participate in the business pitch competition. And what we consider a financial projection is having tab 7B completed. We're going to look at the number all the way down here at the bottom. We're going to see the percent of changes that you anticipate. And we're going to use this document as our way of saying, okay, this is what the financial projections are based on your business model canvas. Those two documents are going to be what we put together so that to allow for you to create your best presentation in front of the judges.
Yeah, it's just as an add-on to that comment. I've in dealing with some of the banks, they're moving away from looking at the 10 or 15 page business plan and looking to have loan applicants have a business model canvas and these financial projections. So you'll notice that the banks are turning to this as well.
In particular, the CDFIs.
Yes, exactly.
Development Financial Institutions. You might have heard of some of their names. Sorry, Danny. CDFI, Certified Financial Development Institution. These are not banks, but they are lenders, and they might be more of your best friends starting out if you're looking for financing early on. Since a lot of banks are heavy on cash flow history, having a CDFI on your side might be a great way to get started. And they certainly appreciate the concise one-page business plans with financial projections.
Augustine, are we going to present this to you guys before the judges or just the judges at the end?
We will take time to do that on a one-on-one basis. So today's Thursday, next Tuesday, Dave is going to be with us once more to make sure that everyone is working on this. So we expect you to be doing this as homework. Dave can take a look at it with you. He could do one-on-one sessions with you. Any of us really can do one-on-one sessions with you.
Okay, thanks.
And we'll help you do that. Now, once Tuesday's up, on Thursday, we're gonna then take time to create breakout rooms, and we're gonna have one-on-one mentors. Not just us, we're gonna include other SCORE mentors. Dave, we welcome you to come to help us.
Great.
We're gonna have Earth Star come. We're gonna have different mentors so that all of you can have an opportunity to have a one-on-one attention to show off your business model canvas, to show off your financial projections, and to show off your presentation slides. If you wish to present with slides, which we recommend, and I'll give you a template tonight in our email that I usually send. You'll be able to answer all the direct questions and see directly what the judges are looking for. And actually, I believe I've sent that already. I included the judging rubric criteria and the slides. Sorry, Danny.
Thank you.
And I'll make sure to send that again. But these templates, these tools are going to be helpful to position yourself, position your presentation concise and straight to the point. So when the judges are checking boxes and figure out what to do, you know, they'll know clearly how you are answering those questions. And especially in the question and answer section, this is the time where after you're done presenting, they're going to have a time for Q&A. And you're going to be able to answer many of their questions through the one-page financial projection sheet or through your one-page business plan through the business model canvas.
And Augustine, as a reminder, thank you for sending this information out ahead of time. I just want to remind people that you are getting this in an email. This is an Excel form in an email. You're going to have it. If you don't have a place, you want to think about your own business and running your business, and how will you be doing that in the future? You know, are you going to run your business from your phone, or are you going to be working with a computer? Anyway, you can go to a local library if you need computer access before that, but this, what we're working on now, is you're going to have it and you can fool around with it, but we will be here to help you. Similarly, with everything Augustine is talking about with your business model canvas, think about how you can say things clearly and concisely, because you're going to have 4 minutes to present, and you're only going to have 3 minutes with people that are going to ask you questions. Everyone, I feel like, is getting very good at saying, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, this is who I'm doing it for, this is how much money it's going to take me. You know, we're working on all this basic information, but we're here to help.
Right.
We're not done yet.
I'm available this weekend. In addition to the bureau staff, if anyone would like to contact me, I'm available this weekend.
That is awesome, Dave. May I just say that?
Sure.
That's
Thank you, Dave.
I did send an email today, and Dave was in one of those. He was CC'd in the email. So Tanya, Octavio, and myself or Dave are available for that one-on-one to help you prepare for this.
Right.
And yes, Kimberly, that's next Thursday. We will take time to specifically work on presentation pointers, but please take advantage of the one-on-one. I get plenty of texts and emails asking for that, and I immediately send it to your respective individual that is in your region to help you with that.
I shared Dave's email in the chat as well.
Great.
Thank you, Tanya.
And all of ours are listed on the site, correct?
Correct. Right at home. Well, with that said, this is our closing remarks.
Thank you, everybody, for following along again.
Thank you, Dave.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you, everybody.
We're all learning.
Thank you, Dave.
Great. We'll see you. If not this weekend, we'll see you on Tuesday.